We are about to do a piece of work to help a client and a friend over an issue of confusion over the fact that his beloved girlfriend has said to him, as far as my mother's concerned, it's all over, it's finished. But then when the mother comes from Rochester to Canada because she's developed some renal kidney problems, his girlfriend breaks down, weeps and cries for the mother, and I did not get the information, but I presume that if she was in hospital, then his girlfriend would have gone to see the mother in hospital. So he has found this very confusing. How is it one moment it's all over with my mother, never again will I see her, and then she does this incredible flip. So I'm going to do a piece of work to illume my friend, and when it's all over, I predict that he will say to me that was a good piece of work because I understand. And then I will say to him, the piece of work is not only good, but it is brilliant. And he will then confirm, yes, it was brilliant. And then I will say to him, it was a piece of work that illumined you, and the light was brilliant, and the brilliance was in you. And then he will say to me, that is true. So this is a wonderful piece of work that has a prediction to it, and let us pray it all comes true. I need to ask you to close your eyes. I'm able to help you because of the fact that I am a very widely read man. And one of the books that I read was the creation of Jerry Fodor of MIT. And he wrote a book entitled The Modularity of Mind. What he said was that the mind is not a seamless whole. Now, from what Fodor said, mind is not a seamless whole, we now realize, and it is of course our creative act to realize this, that our being is not a seamless whole as well. So mind and being are modular. That is to say that it has different parts. These different parts summate to form the whole. Just like your shirt that you wear now. Your shirt is not a seamless whole. There is in fact a seam between the collar, your collar, and the rest of the shirt at the top end. That portion that covers your arms, I do not know the exact name for it, but you know what I'm referring to. That portion, there's a seam right at the top near your shoulder that has stitched that portion to the main portion of your shirt. And your shirt has two pockets, and there are seams there that have stitched the pockets onto your shirt. Your shirt is not a seamless whole. It is modular, and human beings are like that. And the best example that I came across how modularity works was one year when we returned to England, and we were staying with my in-laws. And our visit was in the fall, I think it was in October. But the summer before, Jennifer's sister, husband and family, had gone to England to stay with her parents. Now, the details of what happened are, of course, confidential, and I'm not able to disclose it. But to cut to the chase, there was a problem that arose between my mother-in-law's Canadian grandson versus her two English grandsons. The problem was such that the elders in the family were all very distressed, and they were all biased against the English grandsons, which, on my take of what had happened, I felt it was really unjust. And of course, in the fullness of time, it was all resolved, but not when we were visiting. So now we fly into Heathrow, we are now in Bradford with them, and there is the problem of jet lag, and we go through the normal civil courtesies of the initial phase of our visit. And of course, by 10 o'clock, we decide we got to go to bed because we had just whacked from the flight. Now, at about 7 in the morning, I woke up to the fact that my mother-in-law and my father-in-law are in the kitchen below our bedroom, and my mother-in-law is going on and on about her two English grandsons. And she was speaking at a certain volume that, you know, it woke me up. But I still wanted to go to sleep and continue with my sleep. Eventually, at about 7:30, I knew it was just futile. So I said to Jennifer, there's no point in battling with trying to go to sleep. Let us go downstairs and join them. So we went downstairs to join them. Now, by our coming downstairs, my mother-in-law now had an audience, not of one, but of 3. In other words, it had increased by 200%. And with it, my mother-in-law became more and more irate and more tense and more agitated over what she claimed her two English grandsons had done. So all of us have to, so to speak, stand to attention and listen to her as she went on, and of course her volume got higher and higher, and it was getting really quite hysterical. Anyway, round about 5 minutes past 8, her front doorbell goes, and she immediately leaves us and goes to the front door to see who rang the doorbell. Now, she was in a state fit to be tied down. But when she opened the door, this is what we heard her say. "Oh, hello! How nice of you to visit. Do come in." And I was stunned by this sudden about face. But then I knew what it was, you see. Because, you see, with us, she was in one module. The module was her anger versus her two English grandsons. But when she went to the door, she entered into a different module, which was the classic English housewife to greet a visitor. And of course, once she went into that module, she fulfilled those conditions of being the polite hostess greeting a guest. So now, in one module of the offended daughter, your beloved, goes totally berserk against you know who. But then when mother takes ill, she goes into the other module of the loving, caring daughter. And this is what we mean by being modular. One moment you, as you remember recently, you were very angry with someone dear to you, an old friend, I believe. Then, but when you came back to Toronto, you were not in that mode when you were talking with some other people that you were working with. You were the normal professional Matt who was dealing with somebody else at work. See, you too are modular. We are all modular. Now, I'm going to count to 3 and give you a moment or two to sleep on this. And now, when I count to 3, please feel free to come back here. And you can then open your eyes and feel good and feel at peace and feel totally illumined. 1, 2, 3. Do you understand now?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So then, was the piece of work a good piece of work?
It was a very good piece of work.
Not only was it good, it was brilliant, was it not?
It was brilliant.
So the light shone in you,
Mm-hmm.
and the brilliance is therefore in you.
Illumination.
True or false?
True.
Very good. And we write these articles and we post this in our website, and we know that people are illumined. And we, as you know, need money for the Hawaiian Project, and we ask if they have found it helpful and illuminating, would they send us a small little donation to help us? Mm-hmm. And you know, to this date, we haven't received 1 penny yet.
When did you start the donation?
Well, you can go back and check a few months back we
Right.
first started. You know.
None yet.
None yet. And so you can feel how aggrieved I mean, an aggrieved modular state now.